Hi everyone. So actually I was trying to process around 1 lakh records to a data store and I got a low memory error. Okay, I got an error like this. Execution was forced to stop because of low memory. Okay, so how do you fix this issue? So whenever you are processing a lot of records into a data store or let's say any other system for that matter, you might get low memory error. Okay, how do you fix the issue? You need to actually batch the records. Okay, you need to process the records in batches of hundreds, let's say. Okay, do not push everything together, all the 1 lakh records together. Instead, process records in batches of hundreds. Okay, that way you'll be able to process these records smoothly without any memory issues. Okay, you cannot swallow your food. Okay, you have to chew your food, only then will you be able to digest your food, right? Same is the case here as well. So let's see how we can do batching in Workfront Fusion, especially batching of a CSV file in Workfront Fusion. Okay, so this is a CSV file that I'm trying to process. Okay, as you can see here, we have around 500 projects. Okay, and we are trying to process these 500 projects. Okay, and we are planning to process these projects in batches of hundreds. Okay, so basically what we need to do is um, first 100. So this is the first 100. So let's, I think we have another. What we need to do here is we need to process the first 100 records. So this from this record to this record. Okay, so from 0th index of the array to 99th index of the array, so that will be the first batch. Okay, so how do you get that? We can use a slice function. So let's say you have, like, this is from the 0th index. Okay, and then we are moving up to 100th index, so you just slice this. Okay, so how do you do that? We are going to use a slice function. So how the slice function is basically used to slice arrays. Okay, you can slice array and you need to specify the start index of the array and the end index of the array. Okay, so basically if you see, the start index of the array should be 0. Okay, in the first batch the start index should be 0 and the end index should be 100. Okay, because it will not include the 100th index. Okay, it will only include until the 99th index. Okay, so this is how you need to do it. So from the start index should be 0, the first batch. So let's write it down here. First batch, the first batch equal to um, start index equal to 0. Okay, end index equal to 100. Okay, so that means it will process from 0 to 99th index. It will extract from the 0th index till 99th index. It will not include the 100th index. Okay, now the second batch, it will be like this. Second batch. Okay, it will be start index equal to from 100th index, end index should be equal to 200. Okay, so we need to do this. The first batch, it should be we should slice from 0th index to 100th index. Second batch from 100th index to 200th index. So that's what we need to do. So this is the whole idea. So basically what we have to do is we need to slice this array into batches of hundreds. Okay, and that's exactly what we are planning to do here. So let's see that in action. So what I've done is I've created a dummy project here, as you can see, and I have uploaded the CSV file as a document here. Okay, and I've extracted the document ID, and I've saved it in my notepad. Okay, I'll be using that in my scenario. Okay, so now let's build the scenario. So let's add a global variable, choose module, tools. Okay, tools, set multiple variables, var document ID equal to, so let's get a document ID here. This is my document ID. So this is my document ID. This is where I've uploaded my CSV file, and this is the document ID of the CSV file. Okay, and click OK there, save. Okay, now So I got the document ID. The first step is basically to download the document. So let's add a module here, Adobe Workfront, download document. Okay, and basically I want to download the document using the document ID. Okay, so this is my document ID, var document ID. Okay, so first step is basically to download the document. Second step is basically to parse the CSV, right? So let's parse the CSV. Parse CSV and number of columns in the CSV file. Let's check the CSV file here. So we have actually two columns, right? So let's say two columns, okay? And then we need to convert the binary data into a proper CSV format, right? So we'll just use two string, but where's the binary data? The binary data will be here, data, okay? So then it will be converted from binary data into a CSV format. Okay, so let's click on OK there. Show advanced settings. Yeah, let's click on OK there. Save it. So we parse the CSV. Now we have actually parse the CSV here. Next step, let's try to aggregate. So here at this step, the records will be split. So all the records, so we have around 500 records, right? So it will be split. Okay, now let's try to aggregate it. Okay, so let's first try to aggregate it because we need to do batching, right? So let's try to aggregate tools. Not this. Okay, aggregate. So it will be under flow control, aggregator, error aggregator. Okay, so source module always asks this question: where is this split happening? The split is happening in this module. So parse CSV there. Okay, now I'm not getting the option here, so let's cancel it and let's try to run the scenario. Save anyways. Link, and let's try to run the scenario here. Run anyways. Okay, so then I should be able to get the options here. So if you're not getting the get file data, counter disposition string is null. Okay, something is wrong here. Let's try to see this. Where document ID. Okay, am I getting the right document here? Yeah, we have a space here. We have an enter character here. So let's try to save it here. Click OK. It should work now. Save, run anyways. Okay, yeah, now we got the split records here. Okay, now let's try to aggregate it. Okay, so let's say source module parse CSV, and yeah, let's try to aggregate these fields. Okay, project ID and project name. Okay, click OK there. So now we got it aggregated. Now let's try to slice it. So before we slice it, we need basically the start index, the end index. So basically in the first batch we need a start index, we need the end index. Okay, so start index, end index, and also we need the number of batches, right? Number of batches equal to, how will you get the number of batches? Number of batches equal to, this is the formula, right? So number of batches equal to total number of records, total number of records divided by number of records in each batch. Okay, so basically equal to, if it is, let's say equal to, total number of records is going to be, in that case is going to be 500 divided by total number of records in each batch. In each batch we decided that we are going for 100 records, right? 100. So equal to, it will be like 5. So we'll have 5 batches. Okay, okay, so let's try to add a repeater here. Repeater flow control repeater. Okay, and let's say the initial value is nothing but the start index. Okay, start index is going to be 0, the first case, and repeats is nothing but number of batches. So number of batches will be seal. So total number of records, will be length of the array, length of the array. So let's get the length from this actually. Yeah, length of the array. Length of the array will be this, right? This is the length of the array. Okay, divided by will be here. Okay, calculator divided by. um, what is the formula? Number of records in each batch. So in each batch it will be 100 records, right? Okay, so what it will do is it will give me seal is nothing but it will actually if it is 1.2 it will give me 2, if it is 4 it will give me 4, right? So basically it will kind of do an approximation to the nearest integer. Okay, so if the batch size is, so here in our case it will be like 100, sorry, 500 divided by 100, which is equal to 5. Okay, so that is our number of batches here. Repeats means number of batches, and step is basically in every iteration we should increment the initial value by how many? 100, right? So in the first iteration, the initial and the start index will be 0. Okay, in the next iteration the start index should be 100. In the third iteration the start index will be 300, right? So this is basically the initial value is basically the start index, and step is nothing but the increment. Every time you increment your start index by 100. Okay, that's what it is. Okay, so let's click on OK there. Now let's try to save it. Okay, now we got all the data. So we got the start index, we got the batch number of batches. Now we need the end index also, right? So let's add a tools there. Tools, set multiple variables. Okay, where end index equal to. Okay, how do you get that? The end index will be always I plus, okay, plus should be like this, right? You should get plus from here, plus 100. Okay, so basically it will the index will always be 100 more than the start index, right? Yeah, exactly, that's the case. Add, click OK there. So let's try to run it and see what is happening here. Hopefully it should work. So here we can see the step is 100, initial value is 0, repeats 5, repeats is nothing but your batch number of batches. Okay, initial value is 0, that means this is the start index. Okay, the first batch the start index will be 0, the second batch the start index will be 100. Exactly, yeah, that's what we need. Perfect. Now what about the end index? End index will be here. Okay, in the first batch the end index will be 100, in the second batch the end index will be 200, the third batch the end index will be 300, in the fourth batch the end index will be 400, the fifth batch the index will be 500. Okay, perfect. So we got all the variables ready. Now let's slice the array. Okay, let's slice the array. So let's add tools, set multiple variables. Okay, where sliced array equal to um yeah, so we need a slice function here, slice. Okay, what is the format of the function? We need to give the array, the first parameter will be the array, and the second parameter will be the start index. Okay, start index. Okay, and the third parameter is going to be end index. Okay, third parameter is going to be end index. Okay, perfect. Now where's the array? Array will be here. Okay, start index is going to be I, right? Okay, I will be the start index. So, oops, should be inside this. Okay, and end index is going to be what? Where end index. Okay, so let's try to add it. Let's click on OK there. So we'll get the sliced arrays here. Okay, here we'll get the slice array. Let's see that. Okay, so how many arrays do we have? We have 5 arrays. In each array there will be 100 records. Okay, see this? We'll have 100 records in each array. Second, 100 records. Okay, like that you'll have 100 records in each array. Perfect. Okay, so we slice the array. Okay, now let's try to process these records. Okay, how do you process it? So now that we have sliced it, let's try to do a split. How do you split it? Using an iterator. iterator. Um, yeah, iterator. Let's try to split this. Okay, and after that, let's try to process it to a data store. Okay, so let's add a data store here and replace record. And I've already created a data store. So let's say we have POC batching data store. Okay, so let's process these records here in this data store. Okay, let's say key, we can go for key, we can map it to project ID, ID we can map it to project ID, projects we can map it to project name. Okay, perfect. Now let's try to run it. Okay, let's try to run it here. Okay, um, okay, we have an error. What's the error? Duplicate key error, a record is the same key access or okay, so let's try to do an overwrite existing record here so that we don't get the error. We'll overwrite existing records. Okay, let's try this now. Okay, perfect. You can see, right? The first batch is processing. Okay, second batch is processing here. Okay, okay. Third batch is processing here. Okay, fourth batch is processing here. Okay, perfect. Fifth batch is processing here. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So that's how you process records in batches of hundreds. Okay, this is a very important concept. If you are if you are planning to process large number of records, you need to understand batching. Okay, and this is how you do it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Have a great day.